One of the biggest things I see with individuals, they're not having a performance problem, they got a system problem. How they structure their week, how they build their week by design, across their training, nutrition, recovery, career, family, you name it. If we're not slotting it into our calendar, if we're not creating a week by design, it gets left to reaction and you're not actually able to operate at the standard you know you're capable of. And this is what I see with each athlete, a coach, the business owners, people managing teams and leading people. You need to operate from the best place across your energy, your overall output, and actually being able to serve yourself first. So what we're going to run through in this video is performance by design and how we can structure it for your week exactly to you, because it's going to look different to my week, to my clients and everybody else's. We're going to run through a simple framework I use for my clients. It's going to be under 10 minutes. Let's go back to the office and run through it. So we're going to kick things straight off today, right in with the performance by design system. The aim of this is to stop reacting through the week, start designing it, and I'm going to give you the exact framework I use with my clients, myself, to actually operate from a better place each week. The aim for me is to keep things super simple. It works for me and it will work with everybody else. We don't want anything overcomplicated. We just want to take care of the time available we have each week, our training, nutrition, recovery, and also white space, the time with the family and the time to actually pull back. So let's kickstart and get straight on into this. So when we look at the overall foundation, we have 4 zones and then we build that into one design week. Okay. So we have our training at maybe 3 to 5 hours per week, or if you're doing endurance-based events, triathlons, building towards Ironmans, marathons, you may be having a little bit more training time each week, depending on the level you're at. Just to clear that up is obviously built around where you're at currently. We then have deep work blocks. For some people, that could be a case of like me, I work a lot, run my own business. I'm coaching people on different time zones. So I'm up early and I work quite late. So I structure my week very differently. Whether you're somebody working maybe a 9 to 5, you're running a business, or you're traveling a lot, you can still make it work around you. We then look at recovery. And then I've got recovery and recharge, which some people may think they're not the same thing. For me, recovery is my nutrition, my sleep, the time that I'm actually not doing anything hard training wise. It may be a bit of mobility, a walk, sauna. And then the recharge for me is family, social time, just to build my battery back up. Being outside, being in nature, hiking, walking, that stuff for me is key. And being off these absolute brilliant bits of machinery, but also sometimes they're not the best for us when we're on them 24/7. That's one of the things and habits that I'm trying to work on myself. So these are the 4 buckets. If we look at them, 4 zones, we're then going to start to get into a little bit more of the exciting stuff of building your week. So this is an interactive tool you can use. If you do want access to this, DM me on Instagram, the number 11, and I'll send it across to you. What I'm going to do is open up 5 slots for calls, and I can build this out with you exactly one-to-one. You'll walk away with an exact system you can use, and that's literally it. There's nothing else to offer there. You just build a system out with me. And this is exactly what I do with my clients. So what we're going to do is look into the different block types. Again, we can adjust this based on what you're doing for yourself, like as and direction you want to go, like completely for you, because what works for me is going to be different for you, and what would work for my clients is going to be different. Everyone's so different, so you need to make it work for you. And there's actually something to note on this. A lot of the time when I see different training programs, nutritional protocols, different optimization stuff, which I won't lie, I love that stuff. I geek out about it. I find it super interesting. That's why I do my job. But it's important to note, nothing works if you can't stick to it. You need high adherence, high consistency. That's going to give you the best results. So you need to build your week by design and make sure it's in line with your goals, time you can commit, and actually look at that full 365 approach. Is it sustainable? Can you stick to it? And this is something to really consider when you're building this out, because it can be very easy for me to plug and play this. So every gap's full, I'm super productive and it's amazing. But the reality is it's not always like that. But what I would suggest is create your anchor points, your non-negotiables, your sleep, your training, time with the family, however that may be for you. Okay, so how we sort of look at this is, I'm just going to quick fire through this. It's not going to be super accurate. You could have your training in the morning. Let's say it was 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then you have, let's say it was a run here, cardio zone 2. So you have your sessions for the week, Monday to Friday. Pure example, it's going to be different for you, of course. We then look at what that looks like after that. So 5 till 7 is your training, and then you may go into your work throughout the day, meetings, deep work, whatever that may be. We then look at wind down in the evening. So that could be a bit of family time, recharging, and then you're going to sleep. So if you were to look at an example that may potentially look like that, or it could be different. Okay. So what we want to do is not repeat what we're already doing. So I mean, unless it's serving you and working well, then don't go switch it up. You can maybe just use this as an interactive tool because it looks nice and fancy. Whatever works better for you. But cutting back to the real stuff, make sure you're designing this so it actually fits your lifestyle. The reason being, I've done this so many times. You don't even want to know on my Google Calendar. I've created the perfect week, and I last probably 10 days doing it. So make it simple, repeatable, and actually easy for you to execute. This is what's going to reap the benefits and rewards when it comes to getting the level of results you want and actually having better output and energy. Okay. So you may have an example day like this, and then there may be another day where you have training. It could be a case of you're going to be doing a little bit more deep work in the mornings, for example. It could be a case of you're traveling, or you're going to have family time through the middle of the day. If you're running a business, it may change, or if you're working 9 to 5, you may have a structured work period, obviously. So just make it fit around you, pretty much. That's a simple out and out thing of it. So I'm not going to go through the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's simple enough to go through for yourself. I always make sure you've got your training in first, the time to recharge, and then the simple things of meal prepping and time with the family, because naturally your work's always going to be in there. One thing I do want to say is the weekend normally gets left blank for most. And one of the the finer details that makes the difference each week is actually planning and prepping. So on a Sunday, I like to take literally 10 minutes, go for a coffee, review my week, what worked, what didn't, what do I need to work on, and what's going to be the outcomes and focus points for the next week ahead. So for me, I'll have that as a bit of a recharge, having a lovely cortado, by the way. And then I'll start to look at, right, how can I actually plan my week meal prep wise across literally every morning. When I'm going into the gym to coach individuals for the first 3 hours of my day, I'm taking a 30-gram protein pot of yogurt with me, with some honey, some fruit, and my water and electrolytes. And my clients always laugh at me every time I come to the gym at 6 a.m. with it. But I'm just routine. It's easy for me to do. I can literally plan ahead and prep those 5 days of the week, and it's done. I don't have to think about it. My nutrition doesn't become reactive. I'm not chasing my tail through the week. I'm not eating on the go loads, and it makes it a lot easier for me to stick to. Okay. We then obviously start to look at, where are we recharging? Where are we pulling back? Having time with the family, or meeting friends, having a social. So make sure you look at the weekend and not just productivity, optimization, this, that, and the other. That stuff's important. I love it, but it's important to actually look at the stuff that matters too, and what's actually going to push the needle further forward, not what is just going to massage the ego because we look like we've got a fancy, amazing calendar. Okay. And also you can just reset this each week, and you can look at your training blocks, deep work blocks, recovery, where you're recharging, and you can start to design your week to how you want it and build it to get the level of result you want. So we then have like the frameworks we look at. So training, nutrition, recovery. I can send this across so you can run straight through this. So we look at like minimal effective dose, maybe 3 sessions per week, making sure we're not focusing too much on overloading everything, making sure we're logging every session to the highest standard. And from a point of nutrition, have we got a bit of a protocol for when we wake up, go to bed, wind down, pre-workout routine in terms of the type of nutrition we're having, so we're fueled for the session, and make sure we're using our carbs in our session, protein post-session, whatever works better for you. And also, like you'll see with some of these things, like the one thing I love about this, and some of my clients we have this debate all the time. They love a cold plunge in the morning. It's not for me. It's not for me in the morning. A cheeky cold plunge once in a while is great. Not for me every morning. So make sure you just take bits of this and make it suit you, because not everything will apply. And when I find I've done so many of these things, watched so many of these videos myself, when you try to apply too much at once, you get nothing done. The famous saying, a man chasing many rabbits will catch none. And that's the truth. You just need to focus on a couple of points, try to tweak them, and then just do that week by week, month by month. You're going to get the best momentum from that, okay? And then in terms of 2 example days, so you may have a complete training day that is like your normal routine, and then you may have a period where you're traveling for work, so it looks a bit different. You're up, maybe on a flight, or getting the train into London if you're in the UK. Depending on what you're doing on those days. So I like to create with my clients 2 different separate days, like your A week and a B week to a degree. So we have our complete normal week, non-negotiables we're sticking to. Nothing's kind of interfering with that, and that's what we're executing for that week. We then have that B week if we're catching a flight, or it's a little bit more of interrupted time through that week and your structure changes a little bit. We still have our non-negotiable standards, but the level they're at are slightly different. And this way, you're not just like having the perfect couple of weeks then off plan and all that jazz. You're actually just locked into a system that's sustainable for 365 days of the year and you can stick to. Yes, you can have periods of pushing, you have periods of pulling back. You may have events you're prepping for, or it could be a case of body composition work you're doing, or you're putting more time and attention into your business. However that looks, we design it for it, okay? And that's what the key piece of this is, being adaptable and being able to overcome whatever gets thrown at you. And that's how we achieve the highest level of results while still maybe pushing the career that we want, pushing the business, and actually still able to have some level of output without being a monk. And that's the key thing for me, okay? So if you want the system built exactly to you, just DM me the word number 11, even though that's not a word. Just DM me the number 11 on Instagram, and what I'll do is ping that straight over to you. Again, if you want me to run this for you one-on-one and build it exactly to your needs, wants, and direction you're going, I can run through that with you. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, let me know if you found this useful. And then what I'm going to do is add this straight into my school community, just so it's in there. You can access it whenever you need it. And there's a lot of other valuable trainings in there across training, endurance, performance, recoverability, and also actual lifestyle trainings and education that are going to make a difference to you, not just stuff that's another PDF that's going to get straight thrown to the back of your phone that you're never going to use. So we want things to be impactful, actually add value and make a difference. What I don't want this is to be, it's just another thing that looks fancy and you don't use, because you're wasting your time, most importantly, with that. And nobody wants that. So we want it to be impactful, actually add value, and push you further towards the goals that you want to achieve. So any questions, shoot me a message on Instagram. Let me know if you found this video useful, and I'll see you in the next one.